welcome to the 30s Comedy Podcast. My name is Clint, and I hate how I look.
My name's Uncle Marcus. I don't hate how I look, but let's hear what you have to say.
No. Please. Tell me if you have no insecurities about how you look.
I have some insecurities that I actually kind of did something about.
Oh, so, what's that one?
If you're watching this podcast, you know I wear a lot of hats on this thing because I hate my hair.
Literally hats.
Yeah. But I went to a professional and got a haircut recently. Yesterday, I got a haircut.
A professional. When's the last time you went to a professional?
Over 10 years. Over 10, that's right.
You've never been to a barbershop in 10 years?
Nope. I always just cut it myself. I do the Caesar cut where it's one length all the way around.
Oh.
Because that way you don't have to worry about styling it. Mm-hmm. It's just, that look looks okay on me.
You just you just eat the same salad every day. You tell people, hey, get out of my way. I'm the ruler.
I'm set in my ways.
Yeah.
So I got a haircut.
All right, let's see it.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Take that hat off.
All right.
Here he goes. Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Look at that. Man.
Keeping on topic with the 30s, men, those of us that are in our 30s, even in your 20s, this happens. You start to experience hair loss. And I've been experiencing hair loss, and it's not as bad as some other people, but it's enough to notice and to be kind of annoying.
Part of me is like, I hate it, but the other part of me is like, I think I'd look good being bald. I think I could do it.
I don't know. I through my researches and through what I kind of have been feeling out, is like, just fucking lean into it. Who cares? Mm-hmm. So I decided to do the sides a little bit.
Man, look at that.
Short.
Audience, if you're listening to this, it's like a sweet fade on the sides, and it goes straight into his beard.
And then I'm going to keep the top long. It's going to get longer. I want to grow it longer.
Yeah, audience, again, I've known Marcus for a long time. How long have I, 10 years?
It's been more than 10 years.
Like 12.
It's been like 13.
14 years.
This is episode 14? Let's say 14 years.
It's been 14 years. It's on episode 14. I've never seen him with like a barber haircut.
Yeah, with some kind of style to it. Some like I'm thinking about how I look at the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't like how I look. I mean, it's because I think I genetically have like...
Yeah, hold on a second. Sorry to cut you off. But you started this show by saying, I don't like how I look.
Yeah.
Please explain that.
I don't like... It might be it's a 30s thing where I've, once you hit 30 or even maybe before, but depending on your body and like your genetic code or whatever, you're like hitting this point where your body has taken like the blow of whatever you've been doing to it. Mm-hmm. So if you are one of them who like doesn't sleep enough, if you drink too much, if you eat too much, if you just live a crazy life, your body eventually is like, I'm done with this. Sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
And then you look like a sack of potatoes and you're like...
Well, I think you just start to see the mileage now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You look at the car and you go, oh, there's been some... Speedometer is a bit high.
Yeah. Speedometer?
Speedometer, yeah. Spitometer?
The speedometer doesn't measure the miles on the car.
What does?
I don't know.
There we go.
The speedometer is the speed.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it?
Anyways, yeah, you start to notice the mileage on your face, and your hair, and on your body, and what you can eat and what you cannot eat, and it sucks.
Yeah, and I've tried all the stuff.
Yeah,
everything, and I think it's just
the stuff. You tried what stuff?
I tried Hims, Keeps.
Oh yeah.
Finasteride, Minoxidil. If you're a dude listening right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but. Like Propecia, it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Propecia is the same as the other ones, right? It's the same.
It's just...
all the brands use the same shit. It's all the same medicines, whatever. And it's always sold to you like it says it's like every man experiences some form of hair loss by the time I think they use their 20, like an age in your 20s as a metric. But even once you get the stuff that's always like, there's a chance that like it may not work. But they also say like you start seeing results in like 6 months. That's when you start to see results. So,
which is a great business plan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need to buy the 3-month package, but you're not going to see it till 6 months. So you need to buy it 6 months. You can't just buy the 3-month.
You got to buy 2 of our packages.
It's a commitment. That's how I'm going to be when I go out dating again. I'll be like, you're going to see an improvement in 6 months. The first 3 months, you're going to see no benefit to having me around you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's just interesting having to deal with it because you don't really notice now that I'm experiencing it myself. I kind of see it in other men too. Or it's like, oh,
yeah, because it's like it's my insecurity that I'm trying to champion. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to embrace it.
Well, that's what I said. Like, lean into it.
Yeah,
because there's probably a good chance that no one else is even seeing it. They don't. They don't notice, or even if they do, they don't care.
So, as a teacher, the people who will notice it are your student. Like, if you teach elementary school, your kids will say something because they don't understand that this isn't like appropriate to say to your teacher.
Call them
so, an 8th grader will come up to you and be like, "Mr. McKay, what happened to all your hair? Why are your teeth dented? Why are they yellow?" Like everything you thought of today, like, oh, when'd you get that zit today, Mr. McKay? I have no idea. I think I'm going to name it after you, Logan. This is the Logan zit on my face.
They say you have dented teeth?
They've said that once, but I think it was also because we were so used to wearing masks at school.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like when you haven't seen someone's teeth the whole time. Yeah.
That's a true fucking thing. Because there's people that I work with who I didn't see until we like the pandemic, they just happen to be at that location. And now that the masks are off, you're like, holy shit, you look like a totally different person.
I know. Sometimes it's terrible, and sometimes it's amazing. Like there's this one girl, I was like, I can't look at you because her eyes were pretty. Her eyes were pretty, and then she took a mask off for like 1 second, and I was like, oh, get away. Angel, move.
All my experiences have been negative.
Someone always looks
worse without the mask on.
It's got to be. That was probably what the kid thought. Like, oh, Mr. McKay, he was so cool with a mask on.
Yeah. Now they see your face?
No. I'm just like you, kid. I need to go back to the orthodontist, too.
Yeah. I changed my mouth the last year. So I got aligners. Again, playing, I don't know what it is about me hitting this touchstone of once I'm in my 30s now, like now I care about how I look. Because I didn't before. I really didn't.
Right. Well, it's like for me, I didn't care about like I worked out and I would eat healthy, but I'd still like stay up too late nights or I would drink too much or I would do different things.
You can bounce back from that.
You were able to bounce back from it. But now it's like, hey, this is you now.
But I'm talking about in the vain way of like, let's say like how attractive I think I am to other people. I never thought about that until I hit 30.
Really?
I don't.
You never thought like, hey, I look good.
I never thought I looked good, but I also didn't care.
Oh,
whatever. Who cares? This is me. I don't really want to try too hard. Which is thinking back on it is a flawed way of thinking. Like you should care about how you present yourself, and it was never like clothes or anything because I mean, you've known me. I don't look like a slob, like with clothing and stuff. And I've definitely upped my fashion game in the last couple of years. But
after 14 years of knowing him, it's like, oh, you suddenly took a loan out on Teddy Fresh.
Yeah.
Put a lot of money
I'm wearing Teddy Fresh right now.
Yeah, holy shit, man! You gotta get some stocks in Teddy Fresh now.
Did you see that Instagram post I made a couple weeks, maybe it was last week, where the tags, the Teddy Fresh tags?
I know. When I saw that, I was like, this is why he buys the shirts, because it has a really sweet tag that goes on it.
I was pointing out the volume of the tags that I have. It's like, there's like 30 tags here. That's 30 different Teddy Fresh garments, not including hats and beanies, because they don't give you tags for those.
Oh, that's a jip.
What was I saying? Physical appearance, I never really put much like thought into it until I got to be older, and kind of a bummer. Because if you work on that stuff when you're younger, you have to plan out how you're gonna decay.
Yeah,
basically, we're all just rotting eventually we're going to be rotting. We're dying. We're heading towards the finish line. So
everything you've said is right.
I don't know. Just thinking about that earlier in life would be good, And it sucks that I didn't really care about it, and I don't regret it because I don't really think that way about regretting lots of things. But
that's interesting because I did care about how I looked.
Yeah,
but it was because in high school, because I was so healthy because I had to be for wrestling. Wrestling, okay. I had to make weight.
Right.
I had to work out. If I had like a carb, I was not going to make weight. So it's like
I didn't have any
alcohol
of that.
Or like doing anything bad was not even close to an option. Doing something bad was eating cake at Christmas. Mm-hmm. Or because it was also during winter, which is the worst because it's like you got Thanksgiving, then you have Christmas, and then you have New Year. You have all the holidays where you eat a lot of food. Uh-huh. So having to fight off that temptation was necessary for what I had to do. But
yeah, I didn't have any kind of dedicated act that I needed to be in shape for. And also I'm skinny. I'm a skinny adult. I was a very skinny child, so I'd eat whatever the fuck I wanted and it was no big deal. Now, like my limbs are really skinny, but like you can see like when the tummy starts to get bigger and you're like, what is that? What's happening? I can't eat pizza.
Yeah, like what do you mean I can't eat the whole
have
pizza?
Hot dogs?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Can't have cheeseburgers? Salad?
Your body, it tells
chicken
you what
and
you
rice?
could do.
That's it?
Yeah.
I mean, I like chicken and rice, but every day?
Even rice now.
That's all you can have? Even the rice, it's like...
the pit.
Is rice bad for you? It is, right?
I think so.
Technically, it's bad for you. Because the carb.
Yeah.
What about brown rice?
Same.
There's
slightly healthier somehow?
I've heard both. I've heard that brown rice is not... I don't know. We're slaves to the internet, so whatever information they throw out there, we have to consume.
I think it's a sugar thing with the rice.
There's sugar in rice?
Yeah, white rice.
You just can't win.
You can't win.
You just can't win.
Welcome to the 30s.
We should add a subtitle to we're called the 30s podcast, right? But we should add you can't win.
You can't win. Yeah.
We're not
Welcome to the 30s podcast where you can't win. I'm your host, Clint and McKay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just sucks that it's thinking about it in the sense that we're all just we're dying. So we're going to progressively look like we're closer to death every year.
Yeah.
Thinking about it that way is it's weird and it's kind of a horrible thought, but it is true. So it's just like, how do you want to look going in that direction?
Yeah, do you want to look like the crypt keeper?
It all depends on your status. I don't want to look like that.
No.
It all depends on like if you're single or not, because when you're in a good relationship, it's usually like, who cares at that point? Because you've already found like a committed relationship. You've usually already found somebody.
Ooh, nice.
Sorry, that was very like what we were talking about earlier. It's you're committed to somebody, so they don't necessarily care how you look anymore, and so it's like, so what's the point? Mm-hmm. And if you're single, like we are, it's like you still kind of want to. I don't know. You want to put yourself in the grave yet, but also it's like fuck. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, like part of me is like. Because I dated a lot when I felt like I was at my like fittest, my 20s, fittest 20 time. Mm-hmm. But now you get sort of worried when you start losing your hair and you're in your 30s and you're single because you're like, will this be a thing? But it's really not because then you start noticing all the people that are getting married now and it's like bald guy, bald guy, bald guy, pilot, bald guy.
That's what I'm saying is that it's happening to pretty much all of us. More than it's happening to more of us than it's not happening to some of us.
It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic.
It's a pandemic. Yeah. I think that'd be epidemic. I don't know. Who fucking cares?
Some kind of demic.
Some kind of demic. What was I going to say? That lost me. No. Sorry. What were we talking about?
Hair, losing it. September
11th?
In September.
No, that's not it. Fuck.
We could. Can I tell jokes now?
Sure.
So I have some jokes that are related to people who have birthdays in September. So specifically them and the time we're in right now. So, hello, September.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay, go. I'm glad that it was right before us. Okay, Bert, let's go.
Okay. So it brought me to just being social because if you're single in your 30s, if you want to pursue a relationship, if you don't, that's cool too. You have to be social because humans are inherently social beings anyway, so we have to kind of be social all the time. But it brought back to the haircut. This is where it all connects. Okay, this is what I was going to go to. So I was getting my haircut. This was yesterday. And again, I haven't got my haircut professionally in 10 plus years. And so I've kind of like forgotten / not forgotten what the experience is like to where you're there and you're talking to somebody and it's like a conversation and whatever the fuck. You're being social. So this barber is a very nice guy. It's your barber, the same guy, so you know him. We were talking about our lives and stuff, and like he asked what I did for a living. I said I was a bartender, so he knows that I'm a bartender, right? And he was like, I don't remember how we got to this particular subject, but he had mentioned that like, when I'm done for the day, I have to go home to my wife and my 2 kids, and I just don't really want to. Like, I love them, but I just don't really want to socialize with them that often.
Yeah.
I was like, and he was like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, turned around in the chair. And I was like, Claudio, I'm a bartender. You're a barber. I have friends who are tattoo artists. We all have a very similar thing is that our work is being social. You have to talk to people. They tell you their stories. You tell them your stories. You have to interact with them on a very personal basis. Like, people tell their barbers and their bartenders and their tattoo artists too, like really personal shit. And if you're doing that for 8 hours a day, you're socially tapped. Yeah. You don't want to go talk to anybody. You don't want to go home and go like, I was telling him and I've told you and I've told everybody else, like on my days off, I don't want to go out. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just staying home and I'm watching anime or whatever. And I'm just alone. And I don't think he ever had anyone tell him that before. He was kind of like, oh, I think you're right. And he's older than I am. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, like if you're talking to people all day, your social quota has been checked. And like we all have different quotas. Like we're all on a social spectrum, quotation marks, to about what we need to socialize. Because we all need to socialize in some degree. But if you're doing it all day, it's like it can be very taxing to where once you've met that quota, you're done. You don't want to talk to anybody or do anything. And like he got it right away. Right when I said that, he was like, that's what it is. Yeah. And I've explained that to other people before who don't work in that kind of work, who have been receptive and accept that, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That is a thing. But they don't know what it feels like because they don't know it. Like you can hear that and understand it.
They really don't know it.
Yeah, you can hear it and understand it, but to actually feel it, you can't explain that feeling to somebody. There's many times where I've been invited to do something or just like canceled last minute on things. So it's like, well, I just worked all week and like I can't be around people.
I totally get that. I feel like listeners would get that too. Because like any of my jobs now, teaching, you're talking the whole time.
Oh yeah, teachers is a good one too.
That's another one where it's like I've been like saying, hey, shush all day. I've been telling kids like facts even too. Yeah. You're like, I don't want to even like bring up anything because I had to talk about like so many things today.
Well, it's okay. So that's also like a weird space because like if you think about teaching, like that part of teaching, or even like a customer service role, you're interacting with people all day, but it's not on a personal level. You're not they're not telling you about their lives. You're telling them about your lives or your experiences. Like
you do though.
Well, so I'm saying like there's parts where like you're teaching the lesson. That's one thing. But then say like little fucking Jordan, whatever your zit was named, Logan comes up to you and was like, I watched this show and like they talk about anything that's other than the lesson plan, and then you have to kind of like go into like a social situation where you're socializing because it's different than just talking to somebody and just spitting information at them. Like in a customer service role, someone who's on the telephone all day or who's like a checkout person or whatever, they're doing the job. They're like, yeah, I'm talking to you and that'll be $5, whatever. I guess that could be considered social, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah. And yeah. Like today, for example, what kids will do is they will like give you stuff that's very personal. And you're like, what do you do with that most of the time? Because you're like trying to keep them on track. Like today we're going over roots of words. So stuff like pod or odd, audience, audible.
Podience.
Podience.
That's right, baby. That's you guys, the podience.
And so I'm like, this is like an audience. You gather around and you're there to listen, audio, listen. And this one kid's like, I went to San Diego last week. And it starts this like chain reaction of like all this info that you weren't like ready to listen to.
Yeah.
Or not wanting to listen to it. But it's probably like when you're bartending and like some guest or customer is like doing that. We're like, you were ready to like make a drink and walk away. And now they're going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, so there's like that bombardment aspect too of certain jobs.
It's a learned skill too, because it's part of the job where you can't. If that happened on the street, you could just walk away from them.
Yeah.
But because like I have to be here in front of you to listen to you, you have to like respond in some way. You have to resonate in some way. And it's hard if people if they've never done it, they can't relate because they just. Again, you can explain it to them, but they don't actually know what it feels like. Mm-hmm. And working with kids, that's a whole other thing because kids. They're not developed yet, so they don't really know like conversation cues. They don't know like, he's speaking, so I'm not speaking, or he's saying this one thing which means this, but also like talking to kids. People always say talk to kids like they're adults. You can't talk to kids like they're adults.
It's tough.
So I would say fuck every other 3 words, and they'd be like,
yikes, Jesus Christ,
it's not the same.
What are you doing? Don't talk to them like that.
You've heard me speak. You heard me. How many times have I said that this podcast?
No, the worst is if a kid. The difference is in kids, like if they think they can just say stuff like that all the time. I was at this school called Ramona Junior High.
Hey, way to dox the school.
Well, because when I brought it up to my dad, who was a cop in that area, he said, we arrested the Ramona 5. Who are the Ramona 5, Dad? Well, there were these 5 kids who killed a kid. And everyone was trying to say break out the Ramona 5, like save them. And it's like somehow is not a good school. How is that? I don't understand it.
Can I tell you something? If I'm having a nephew coming in like the next week or 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the brand new nephew.
Yeah, and I'm going to be on baby duty. It's already it's established. That's what happens when your siblings have kids. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I would censor myself around the kid. And like that's a reaction like, ugh. But it's like they're gonna hear this stuff already. If you just like tell them, hey, I'm saying fuck, you can say it too, but just say it here. Don't say it out there because it can turn into something bad.
Well, they're going to say it out there. So if you I'm not saying that it's trash.
Right.
But like if you give them trash, they will give it back to you. And the way that you will receive it will be the way that you won't like it. Because they, again, like you said, they don't understand the cues. Like we could say fuck, shit, pussy, all the words. But like they won't understand the art of using the words.
What if you teach them that?
I'm just like in class?
No, but so
as
I'm talking about,
maybe.
I'd be like, hey,
like
I just said, you can say whatever the fuck you want in this room with me and you're going to be fine. However, you say this stuff out in the world at this age, you're not going to be okay and you're going to get in trouble. And when you get in trouble, that's your fault. You did that. You get the consequences for that.
Yeah.
And then if they end up doing it and they get in trouble and they pick them up or whatever, and like, well, I fucking told him he can't say that.
Yeah.
And so go ahead and punish him.
The kid will blame you.
And you for telling them the truth.
Because then you're in trouble. When they're in trouble, they'll blame you. Suddenly, like, you're the bad guy, even though you're really not,
I don't know, because the way I was raised was like kind of the same, where it was like, you can do whatever you want. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. And it might just be me. Like, the times that I got in trouble, I wasn't like, well, he said I could do it. My dad. It was just like, all right. And my dad was very much like, yeah, I told him he can't say it. So absolutely keep him in detention for a week because he knew the consequences already. And I guess that's different for every kid, and it depends on your home environment. But that's where it's weird with kids, because everything that we're like the stuff that's like you can't do or kids can't say, it's like, oh, that's a bad word. It's like, well, they're going to hear it in like 5 years anyway. They'll probably be saying
it's really just about like maintaining order in that room. You know, you could have some kid say whatever he wants, but it's only going to affect you if you're like controlling the environment.
What if he does all of his work and he does straight A's? But
he's gonna cause other kids to mess up. He's gonna lead them astray. You could have the best kid, gets all his work done, and it's almost worse. It's worse if a kid gets all his work done and is ready, because then he's gonna
because he made it
feel the freedom of it. He's gonna because then all the other kids will think that they could do it too, and that's what always comes down to is that they see this kid do it. Then they all do it, and then suddenly you have 30 kids saying fuck, shit, puss, all at you. Suddenly it's like caused this whole stir-up, you know?
So just don't have kids.
Just don't have kids. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
That's really, because that's also the story that people will say too about having kids is like you could try so good and then you mess up like the one time and the kid picks up on that one thing that you do.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're 30 and they drink on a podcast.
I have a good kid story. If you want.
Go ahead.
Okay. And it ties into bartending as well. There was one time I was bartending. It was me and another guy were behind the bar, and we were talking to. There was like two groups of people, patrons at the bar. Like it was like 3 and 3. I don't know, but there was like they were adults. I want to say like 40s, 50s, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was kind of like a conversation between all of us. Like we'd all found some kind of common thing to talk about, and again, the social aspect of the job. But there's like a little space in between the group of people. And so a little kid comes up to the bar and like this is the bar top. His head comes to like right here. So he's not fully over the bar, right? And so he puts his arm up on the bar like this.
Yeah.
And like we all stop and look at him. It's like, what do you have that's virgin? And no one says anything, so I'm like, what? He was like, what do you have that's virgin? And I was like, I don't know, you get out of here. And he just walks off and goes back to his family was like in the distance. We saw the table he went to. It was like, what the fuck is this little kid doing? And it goes off to the table and we're like kids are the worst. You know, that one. I guess that's kind of a funny move for the kid to do, but yeah, he just walks up to a bar and puts his hand on the bar and asks for, who taught you the word virgin? And how do you know that means no alcohol in a drink?
Yeah.
How do you know that means like what we know it means? Like you haven't fucked.
Do you know the root of the word?
A virgin?
No, to the kid.
Oh yeah. Do I know it? No.
Verge means there's been no penetration.
Yeah, that's same for olive oil.
Yeah.
Extra
there's
virgin.
Been no penetration of the olives into the oil.
Extra virgin.
Yeah, that means there's been a lot.
Yeah, it's been
a lot
long,
taken away.
Yeah, this is an old.
There's a build up.
This is an older olive that really hasn't fucked in a while.
Yeah, it's just he's
extra
got that.
Virgin.
Yeah, it's got that extra build up.
Yeah, I don't know. Kids suck.
Damn.
That's just a funny kid story about don't have kids. But yeah, should we talk about? Oh, I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
I got on TikTok.
Ugh, why?
I have my reasons, and they're not good, but TikTok sucks.
I don't like TikTok.
It's the worst. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get the pull of it. I don't have that desire to be on it.
I was on the I don't know what it's called, but the one where you see the TikToks.
The reel?
Where you just go like this, and there's just a new one and a new one.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Where it's like, bah, bah.
Yeah. Bah. It's on there for maybe a minute, 2 minutes. No. Phone down. This is stupid. I don't get why that's such a huge platform.
I don't get it. Like, I don't even like going through Instagram stories and it's a bunch of TikToks.
Yeah.
Because like, first of all, I'm not going to see like my friend that I'm like following to see them do stuff. there's like 5 extra TikToks right after it of the same joke, and you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, this person didn't come up with it.
Mm-hmm. Or it's always the same trend. Like, there's a certain song.
Yeah.
Like, that, oh, no, oh, no, oh, no, 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 no. You know that thing, right?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Liar, you know what that is.
Nope.
Oh, that'll be a good clip for you guys to enjoy.
The way you did your eyes, though.
Yeah, clap. Anyway, TikTok sucks. Don't get on TikTok if you're not on there. I mean, if you're a thing on there, I guess it's fine. People blow up on there and stuff.
Only if you're famous.
Well, they had to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. They started by, jumping around in front of a wall.
My money don't jiggle jangle. It folds. I do kind of like that song.
It is a pretty good song. Is it a whole song or is it just that little clip?
The TikToks that people make are not the whole song.
No, it's just that one little sound bite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
That's about it.
I have a funny story, though.
Okay.
It's about L.A. And how big L.A. is. Mm-hmm. So I was listening to this first time home buying podcast.
Yeah.
Where the guy who hosts the podcast, he's a licensed real estate agent. I don't think he still works in real estate, but he's done the job for many years. He's a little bit older, and he helps people buy their first homes, and also helps them afterwards with like the whole the whole reality of having a home and what comes once you actually own it. Yeah. Walks them through like escrow, walks them through like all the contracts and everything. Home buying is a complicated process. I also work in real estate. I know that myself. Anyway, he was interviewing this first time couple who bought a house in, hold on, that's the end of the story. They lived in West Hollywood, and they worked in the industry. They worked out of Burbank. And they were paying like $2,000 in rent. Actually, it's more than that because West Hollywood, it's really more than that in West Hollywood. So they were paying $2,000 I'll just say $2,000 in rent. And they were like, well, we could pay that much in a mortgage somewhere else outside of, it may not be in the city, it may not be in LA proper, but we could afford a house somewhere else. So they're telling the story, like they're telling their whole story about like, oh, where would they live in LA? That's a $2,000 mortgage. And they're like, yeah, we moved like on the very end of LA, like the farthest you can go, but we're still in LA, blah, 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 blah. And the guy was like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh, well, what city do you live in? And they were like, oh, we live in Claremont. And if you don't know, LA is huge. LA County it is huge. Yes.
What?
Claremont is not LA.
What?
We know where Claremont is. We grew up kind of close to there. That's like 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, probably like 40 minutes. Yeah. Not with no traffic. It's like 45 to an hour outside of LA. And they were like, yeah, we got a nice place in LA. I'm like, bitch, they still work in Burbank too.
Oh no.
So they commute from Claremont to Burbank.
No.
Monday through Friday, like a 9 to 5. Like you're in traffic for hours.
I remember that.
God, that's not LA.
I feel like I'm in my car again.
An
hour and a half.
LA is huge. Like gross. Once you actually start to realize what places are in LA that aren't just like Hollywood or like the Valley, whatever, you're like, oh fuck, LA's big. But I mean, it goes down to like Long Beach. Long Beach is LA as well, but it's also like you're not really that close.
Yeah, when you said it, I thought Eagle Rock, Pasadena.
Yeah, even
maybe?
that would be like, that's what I was thinking was Pasadena. I was like, okay, well that's still, people commute Pasadena into LA all the time, and it's like, that's just, if you don't want to live like in the city or or in the Valley, you live out that way. I was like, fucking idiots. That's not LA.
That's not LA.
They're lying to themselves.
Yeah.
And that is the farthest, I think, Claremont, because after that it becomes Inland Empire.
The cutoff, yeah.
Yeah. So
literally the farthest that they can go.
Yeah. So stupid. Anyway, also speaking of West Hollywood, we went to the Comedy Store on Monday.
Oh, what a night.
Do you want to talk about? I'll let you.
What a night.
You lead us in the comedy store experience.
Do you have a list of all the people that were there?
I do have a list of all the people that were on stage.
It was amazing. It was a Monday, and when we go to these Monday shows, first there's no traffic on the freeway, which always feels like a good sign when no one else is driving out there. We get there and we find nice parking, we get something to eat, and then we get in line. We're in a good spot in the line, and it all started around 8:00. And we did the whole tip the.
Don't say that.
Well, they said it. They said it.
Yeah, but I don't want people to know. Whatever, you can tell them. I'll tell them.
Well,
I'll tell them. I'll do it.
Only because the guys that were ushering us said
okay, pro tip. If you're going to the comedy store, you've never been or you don't go that often, there's 3 types of tickets. There's general admission, there's VIP, and then there's a booth. VIP, you're going to be sitting on the stage. It's that first row on the stage, so you're going to get made fun of. Booth, obviously, you get a booth. You're away from the stage. The comedian won't see you. You're good. And they give like a credit. I don't know if the store does a credit. The store doesn't do a credit. So you're in a booth. You're safe. You're good. You buy general admission. They put you wherever. They usually put you at a table with other people, and you kind of pack you in. The pro tip, if you don't want to buy VIP because you don't want to get made fun of, but you also don't want to buy a booth, pay general admission, get there early. When the doors open usually an hour before the show, so the show is at 8, doors open at 7. Get there, you can probably get there right at 7. You'd probably be fine. And when you're going in and they check your name off the list and they bring you to the door guy, they have a tip jar out for the door. Give them a tip and they'll seat you at the bench to where you're not with anybody else. And it's a better overall. You have a little table. It's a better experience. Tip your door. That's just a good rule anyway. With anytime you can tip somebody, just tip them.
Yeah.
They'll usually take care of you in some way. So yeah, if general admission, tip the door, you're good. Go on.
Yeah, and we got there. I decided for this night to be sober to see how that felt. And honestly, I think it made it a little bit better because I felt like I was more active. I felt like I wasn't sluggish. I felt like I got that joke right away. And I do remember a lot of the jokes more, I think. So for me, that might be my way to go because I do want to experience it all. I want to hear everything. And there are a lot of my favorite people. Some of them are my favorites. Some of them are not my favorites.
Well,
not get into that yet.
We'll finish.
First, the opener. There's a couple openers, and they're all really good. Sometimes you get there and an opener is kind of awkward.
Right. Well, because they're still the openers for the store are not passed yet, so they're not paid regulars. So the store opened with Jet Ski Joan, who works at the store. She's not a paid regular. So they usually go up and they open the show for you. They'll do like 5 minutes of whatever they're working. I'm not sure whatever they're working on. I don't know if that's how you get passed or not. I don't know. I don't work at the store. So she went up and she was funny because we've seen her before. We saw her at Flappers. Yeah. And now she's like on a bunch of podcasts and stuff too. She's blowing up. So she's going to be something one day. And then the other 2 guys I've never heard of. I don't know their names, but they were funny though. They did a good job. Yeah. And then the show started. So this wasn't like a typical like best of the store show. It was Adam Ray. I don't know if he pulled the lineup or not.
Maybe. Because
it was sold as like Adam Ray's and Friends. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure what the difference is between that and like best of the store. Yeah, he was funny. Mm-hmm. And I've been a fan of his for a while. And it was cool seeing him. Because he has like an Adderall energy to him where he's just like... That's for the YouTube. You can't see that. You know what I mean? Did you get that too? When you just saw him just like, yeah,
and also because
great crowd work too.
Great crowd work. Yeah. He's good at the guy that he kind of picked on said that he's a personal trainer, that he looks up to Arnold, and then he's like, oh, what's your dream though? oh, to make movies. And he's like, well, Arnold made movies.
Yeah. No, okay, so you're leaving out.
No, I try to leave out a lot. I was trying to speed it up.
Okay.
I was trying to get past it.
Well, we're not about speed on this podcast.
All right.
So he was making fun of the guy, and he was like, "Oh, it was good crowd work, and personal trainer, blah blah blah." And he was like, "What was the dream? Or what was the dream at? Or what did you want to do? Was that what you wanted to do?" And he was like, "No, I wanted to be an actor." And somehow he was like, "I ended up being a personal trainer," and he was like, "Okay, you can't do both." And he was like, "Well, no, I can't act if I'm into personal training." He was like, "All right, yeah." Well, Arnold did it, and it was just because he brought up Schwarzenegger because he asked like, "What's one of your trainer idols?" And he said Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then he did the whole like wanted to be an actor thing, and then he was like, "Well, Arnold did it." Obviously, I'm not delivering how he did.
I swear I said the same thing.
No, I
Did I not say the same thing?
We'll go back and see.
Can you name off the list of all the people that were there?
Yeah, so it was Adam Ray. This is not in the right order they came out, but Adam Ray, Brad Williams, Nikki Glazer, Joel McHale, Rick Glassman, hilarious, Eddie Iffett, and closed out by Craig Robinson. So Adam was good. This is a lineup of killers except for one. So it was just an excellent show.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, Brad Williams. That was my first time seeing him do stand-up.
Yeah, he was very solid.
Yeah.
Like he has this set. He wasn't going to stop for anything.
No, he was.
Like if someone was going to talk up, he wasn't going to stop.
And like he's a professional comedian, but he like really owned the stage and the room. It was really cool to see. And he was very animated, like running around the stage and like he did a good job.
He was good. I liked Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing her do stand-up too. I know you're a fan of hers.
Yeah,
I'm not really a fan of hers. It's not my kind of humor, but just talks about like blowing guys and stuff. And
well, it's not to talk about that.
Let's talk about that?
No.
Oh.
Well, why not talk about blowing guys?
I'm not saying don't talk about it. It's just not. I've seen her over the years, and like she's just not my shtick.
Yeah, I think she was solid.
She was good though.
She was really good.
Was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's actually. Yeah, she's a headlining comedian. Of course, she's funny.
And then Joel McHale, he kind of did the like, I'm famous. Want to hear about the famous people that I know?
Yeah,
like the Chevy Chase thing.
He did kind of do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
He was so. I'm not disappointed because I actually didn't know that he did stand up. I thought he was just like a host and an actor. So cool that you get to perform at the store. But he did a lot of that stuff to where like you react to the crowd, but the crowd didn't say anything. He'd be like, yeah, I blew my dad. Yes, thank you. Like, you know what I mean?
To get the validation.
Yeah, and it's like no one said anything. He did a lot of that. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. That's when he did crowd work. It was like, about show.
Yeah.
Right? I'm on Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
Right? Look at me. And like walk up I don't really like that. I like the Brad Williams more where it's like, oh, he's just going to keep going.
Yeah. If like walk to the front of the stage, like, yes, my dick is in your face for the whole show. And the guy's just like, that's his seat.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like, but he was funny though.
I feel that, yeah.
Fuck, what was I going to say about Joel McHale? I could not stop looking at his fucking arms.
I know, he's huge.
He's huge. I knew he was like a tall, big man already just from seeing him on TV and seeing him on Community because he towers over on Community. But seeing him in person, like, that man is a giant.
Yeah,
he's
I thought so too.
Enormous. It's like a barn door.
Just very small.
Tall and wide, yeah. Even smaller because he was on stage, like sitting in the dark.
Yes.
Daddy.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't my favorite, but he was still pretty funny. Rick Glassman.
Oh my.
That was your first time, wasn't it? That was your first experience to Rick.
Wow.
Oof.
He was different.
The fucking killer.
Yeah, he was a killer. I couldn't tell how much of him is like from being on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that about him. I just thought he was crazy.
But he was so good that it could just be a joke. I don't really know.
Who knows? It could be part of his shtick.
It might be.
did that one joke where you just pulled out a puppet. Mm-hmm. I want to show you my new hobby. Right? I forget how he framed it, but he was mentioned he had something he wanted to show us.
Yeah.
He's interested in, and he came out with a backpack on stage. And you're like, what the fuck? He's got a backpack on, and he looks kind of like bummy. He's got like bummy clothes on. So like, oh, he's just a weird guy. And then he comes out with his backpack and he puts it on the stage, and then he gets into that joke, and he's like, I want to show you guys something. And then he pulls out a puppet, and he's like, and everybody starts cheering, and then he just puts it away. Like he implied that he was going to use the puppet.
He did not use it at all.
Did he talk about props? Is that what it was?
Yeah. It's like, I got
like,
some
who's
props.
your favorite prop comic? Like, oh, Carrot Top. Like, who else is a prop comic? And so he pulled out the puppet and then like just didn't do anything with it.
That was brilliant.
Yeah. And he'd have like a little like caps each joke. Like, I have a black friend. But it would be like, okay.
He was brilliant.
It was just like
really good.
Beautifully manic.
Yeah.
Like it was mania when it just works and it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And what was the other thing he did that was funny? Oh, he did like a little skit thing at the end where they had they put on the music. And he like took his shirt off. He had more than one shirt on. Took like his sweater off, and then wrapped around his waist, and then put on a fake. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just staring at me like. Okay.
Keep going.
Okay. He like wrapped around his waist, and then put on like a fake mustache, and was like getting ready to do something, and then turned around, and the music turned off, and like didn't do anything.
Well, because he put it on with his back facing the audience.
Right. So we could see it because we were on the side.
So we were getting geared up for something, and then he turns around, and then he didn't do anything. He took it off.
Yeah.
He was really good.
He was really good.
Now we're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
He was amazing, yeah.
And I've seen his stand-up before, but I've seen him mostly on podcasts, and it's the same way. He's just fucking psycho. And I guess it makes sense that he's on the spectrum a little bit. I didn't know that. But,
it seemed good. It worked for all his jokes.
Yeah, he utilized that to, for his stand-up, and it worked very well.
He talked about how, like, when you have a bit of autism, you don't understand facial cues.
Yeah.
So he talked about how that is when, like, you're with a girl, like, because usually if, like, you're going to go in to kiss somebody, you got to get some kind of cue. But if you don't notice the cue and you go in to kiss somebody, that could be really bad, right? And so he had a really good bit about that, and it turned out pretty good for him, though.
You can be not on the spectrum and still not know that either.
Yeah, like that. I don't think I quite knew that either. Like, like I know that they don't notice a lot of, like, some things that we could.
Right.
But then even if you weren't, like, there are some cues that we don't see.
Right.
Because I try to get pretty expressive, but then other people will be like,
you're like,
you were supposed to hold my hand at that point. Why didn't you hold it? I wanted to do you, but you didn't even make a move. Are you kidding me?
Oh, those are the wrong people.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around those.
Be a little obvious.
Yeah, it's always better to be transparent in those situations anyway. Just like, are we going to do this or what? Yeah. Then the other one, the next one that went on was Eddie Iffett. I was not familiar with him.
He was okay. Wasn't that? It's just hard because he was with all the rock stars.
Yeah, it was. Well, he's obviously a headlining comedian, but like it's always kind of harder at the end of the shows because people just get drunker and drunker as the night goes on. So you kind of have to win the crowd a little bit more. And was Nikki right on before him?
She was before. I think he was after.
It was Brad, then Nikki, then Joel. Remember, Brad brought out her, and she couldn't get the stand back up.
Yeah.
And then Joel got the stand back up. He must have been after Joel then. Oh, it was Rick last week. He was after Rick. So
he was after Rick.
Yeah,
so
Rick
it's hard to follow Rick.
Killed the room.
Yeah.
So it is hard to follow that. He was still funny though.
Yeah.
He has good jokes. I just never heard of him. So yeah, have you heard of him before? No? Okay. That was our first experience with Eddie. And then we came to the closer of the show. It was actually a good place to wrap up on because we're getting close. Because I bet we both have a lot to say about this. Mm-hmm. Craig Robinson closed out the show. Craig Robinson of The Office. Mm-hmm. That's probably what he's most famous for. But it's been on lots of movies. The very successful actor. I didn't know that he did stand-up.
Did he?
I didn't know that he's booked for stand-up. he gets booked for stand-up gigs.
Did he do stand-up? I was a big fan.
Right. So he's cutting right to the point. Yeah, he didn't do stand-up. So when we got inside the room, there was a keyboard set up on stage. And I told you, I was like, that's probably going to be for Craig, because we knew that he was going to be on the lineup somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's probably going to be for Craig, because I know he plays keyboard. He does it on The Office. Mm-hmm. And so he comes out. He gets brought out by Eddie. And, like, I'm not surprised that he's stoned. Doesn't surprise me at all. I'm surprised at how stoned he is. To where he very slowly comes out of the curtain.
Yeah.
And, like, you immediately see his face. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, this guy's fucking stoned.
It was bad.
And he does, like, that. He, like, walks the stage because the audience is going nuts because it's Craig Robinson on stage. So he walks the stage and kind of, like, just kind of bumbles around a little bit and then goes to his keyboard. It's like fucking with, like, the microphone, whatever. And then he does that thing where he's, like, trying to find the music where it's like, burp, 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 burp,
which I thought was great at first.
Because you're like, you think it's great because you're like, what is this? What's happening? What,
like some kind of, like,
Robinson going to, like, do something? Like,
yeah, is this like Bugs Bunny doing Mozart? Like, what is this?
Yeah. So he ends up just, he starts playing, I don't know what he started playing, but he starts playing songs and, but not singing. Mm-hmm. He's just playing, like, if you were to go to, like, dueling pianos or something, like, hey, tell me a song. You're like, play fucking Firework by Katy Perry. I don't know why that was my go-to song, but
that was one
song.
of them.
Yeah, and he just starts, all right, starts playing the song, and you're like, oh, cool, like I can play any song. He just starts playing songs on the keyboard. And because it's the end of the night, and everyone's drunk in that room, except for you, which we already established, this is a generalization, but I'm going to assume that most of that room, the men were there, like the women that were there were dragged by the men. Or they were there because, like, oh, let's go here for a date. I don't like comedy, whatever, but I'll go with you to this show. I could be wrong. That's my feeling for the crowd in this show, because it was an all-male lineup except for Nikki Glaser. And when Nikki was out, the women were cheering. You could hear the women over the men cheering. But so Craig starts playing music, and the women in the room start singing like it's karaoke. Mm. And the only song I actually remember clearly is like an Usher song. I don't remember, but like
so many songs.
He played so many songs, and he's not saying anything. He's not singing the words. He's not doing little jokes in between each song. He's just playing keyboard. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, where the fuck are the jokes? Like, I paid for a comedy show. I think I told you that. I was like, when are you going to start saying jokes? And yeah, he's doing that. There was one point where he stopped and just got his phone out and was texting somebody, and it's silence in the room, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to mention, he asked for a spotlight too. So they turn off all the lights in the room and put like a spotlight on him, right? So it's dark in there. So there was one point where he just like stops what he's doing and kind of leans back and just starts texting. It was like 2 minutes. And he would be like, oh, my man Andrew in the front row.
Yeah, he tried to make a bit out of it, and then he grabbed Andrew's phone, and then he sent him a dick pic.
But he didn't give him his phone. He was like, Andrew, give me your phone. Andrew was
not going to do it.
He's like, come on, give me your phone. And he was like, I'm not giving my fucking phone. You're going to throw it in the audience. Who knows what you're going to do with the phone? And so like people in the laugh, it's kind of like stifled laughter, or you're just laughing because like, oh, we're supposed to laugh, right? It wasn't funny. And so he just continued to do that for a while. Here's the part that got me. Is everyone did like 15 minutes, and because they're all headliners, they all kind of went a little long, which is fine. They're all killers. They give him the light at 15 minutes because it's dark in the room and it's just a spotlight on him. They can't leave that red light on because it's just gonna be a big red spot on the stage. So they just flash it real quick, and I saw it. And they did it when he was on his phone texting. Was like, I don't know if I told you, but I did think later, like, I bet you he did not see that light. Yeah. And he did not see that light and just kept going for like another 30 minutes, maybe not that long. It was hard to tell. It was so, Because it was
really,
so like
really hard to sit through.
Yeah, it was so
really hard,
not entertaining that you're like, it's probably only been like 5 minutes, but it feels like it's been 30.
Yeah, as a sober person, I was sitting there.
As a drunk person, it was still like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and so I looked around and I saw every male face was just looking, going
like, what is this? What's happening?
Is it going to be better? But then, of course, we're sitting by like this girl here and then a woman right behind me who were singing the entire time.
Not well. Very karaoke style singing.
Yeah, just like
so annoying, man. I remember you had said like, "Do you want to get out of here?" And I was like, "No, I want to see." I was
trying so badly to get out.
I want to kind of see how it ends. At that point, it was just like a beautiful mess. Actually, it was an ugly mess. What are you saying?
It was nasty.
Train wreck. But I wanted to see like maybe he'll jump up in a minute and start like telling jokes. And we waited a good amount of time, and then I was like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then we can get out of here because nothing's happening." And I noticed too, when I went to the bathroom, you have to walk by those seats in the back. There were people, the seats were pretty much full, and I was in the bathroom for a good amount of time because I held my pee for the whole show. When I came out, a lot of those seats are empty. So like people had the same idea. I was like, let's just get out of here and beat the traffic at least because this is not going anywhere. It made me think too, like how long after he left, it was like, how long did he go?
I was not going to try to find out.
I wanted to Instagram to like try and like see like some tags or like anything to see like Craig Robinson's here. He's still here. Like, but I couldn't find anything. But it didn't like damper the night.
Yeah, it was
still
an amazing night. Yeah.
But it was still like, fuck. Because that was my first experience seeing Craig Robinson on stage. Mm-hmm. And now if I was ever going to see him again or I see him on the lineup, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
I still love the Comedy Store. Can't wait to go back. And on that note.
You want to end it like Craig Robinson ended the night?
Singing?
Or we just sing songs that no one wants to
I already sang earlier. You got my one song out of me.
Shoot.
What did I sing?
You mean you're not going to do that for another 30 minutes and then...
No, I respect my audience too much to do that to them.
And then try to bait people to stay by saying, I'll tell you which member from The Office is racist?
Oh. He pulled some trickery.
He tried to keep you. Yeah. Tried to keep
Also, okay, so he said at one point, like, because some lady got up to leave or go to the bathroom. I don't know. But he was like, wait, I'm about to tell who was on The Office. It was a racist. And so she stopped and came back. Like, oh my God. And then he played the Office song at one point, the Dunder Mifflin, like, out of paper,
paper people, done. And then, so he played the song. The girl behind me, who's been singing every song, suddenly doesn't know the words to the Office song.
Didn't I say, I was like, there's the song. Mm-hmm. No one else said anything in that room.
Because I'm like, am I the only one who's going to sing it? Am I going to be the chick behind me for this song?
Yeah.
I'm not in on that.
Should have just done it. I don't want to say don't see Craig Robinson because, if that's your thing, if you're a drunk 28-year-old female, go ahead. But if you're a comedy fan, maybe if he's not stoned, I don't know.
Maybe
that was it.
Maybe be sober.
Yeah. Because like I said, I don't know. I'm not surprised that he was stoned, but he was fucking stoned.
Mm-hmm. It was bad.
So on that note, we can wrap it up for today. Thank you for showing up today, Clint. This is another great episode.
Thank you, Uncle Marcus.
Episode 14. Mm-hmm. You can find me at Uncle Marcus 2_. Uncle 2_ Marcus on Instagram. And I'm on TikTok now too. If you want to go to that fucking wasteland. Mm-hmm. Where can they find you, Clint?
At the _Clint_ show. If you guys are listening, share it.
Yeah, like and share. I'm not going to say subscribe. But
no, just like and share it. I hate when people say subscribe.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wherever you get podcasts.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.